Let's go. Are you kidding me? Corey Kiner has entered the transfer portal. Comment down below. Do you believe this is actually a big loss for LSU? And look at this stiff arm. I will never forget this. And I know it's in garbage time versus Central Michigan. I don't care. That is just so vicious to posterize. Number 45 has a family, Corey. But, of course, he is no longer with LSU. Obviously, he can always come back with the rules of the transfer portal. The first thing I'll say is Corey Kiner got extremely unlucky. I mean, from actually on the field stuff and off the field stuff as well. Let's start with off the field. Corey Kiner was the first big commitment by Kev Falk. Corey was very close to Kev, and last year, for your first year to be at LSU, was really brutal, obviously, with the end of the Ed Orgeron regime. The second thing for me is John Emery. Part of the recruitment of Corey Kiner probably included, hey, TDP and John Emery are probably only going to be here for one more year, and then the running back room is going to be wide open. Of course, that didn't happen. The third thing is, yes, with the new coaching staff coming in, Corey Kiner still had his opportunity to go out and win this running back job, but now he is currently hurt. And that injury stinks because, well, John Emery's also hurt, but he's still probably going to be the starter. Noah Cain is also coming in from the offseason, and Armani Goodwin and Trey Bradford are still in that running back room. The second thing is on the field, Corey Kiner got the worst possible luck when it comes to run blocking. So what I want to show you here is just on this sweep right here, notice that wide receivers for Corey Kiner just never really blocked well for him. So Devonta Lee scored a touchdown earlier in this game. So if you score and you're actually getting targets, we need you to get a good block. And you notice he just whiffs this guy. But Jack Bash has his blocker turned to the inside. But notice here, Liam Shanahan ends up saving the day and gets a good block downfield. And Corey Kiner was still able to pick up, a long gain right here. But for the most part, run blocking was horrible. You're looking at a stat here from SEC StatCat. Some of the worst run blocking you can think of when it comes to contact before yards gained. So Kiner's run blocking was atrocious, and LSU decided to switch up their run blocking, obviously in that famous TDP Florida game. And guess what happened? Well, TDP flourished and never really looked back. Corey Kiner never really got carries or targets or whatever you want to call it after the Florida game actually happened. So Kiner, despite having a great broken tackle rate, just had no chance. Here's another example, and this is going to be a big thing for Cortez Hankton. Can he get LSU's wide receivers to block better? So Coy Moore has one of the easier blocks a wide receiver is going to make. He's looking directly at the block he is going to make. You got to seal this defensive end to the inside. Normally, you don't want to give away that you're doing this. You want to look straight ahead and then hit him. So maybe Nine was feeling this out. Still, though, you need to get upfield and seal him, kind of like what Jack did a minute ago. But you see what happens here. Coy Moore, not good. Okay? Now, Jeray Jenkins down the field. At least Jeray Jenkins made this guy go to the inside. Still not good. So you notice both of these blocks are missed by receivers. And guess who makes the plays here? Jack doing a decent job on this guy to the outside. But the guy that Coy Moore makes this play, along with the guy that Jeray Jenkins missed, helped make this tackle. So now we get to the big question here. Did the LSU running back room lose a huge piece? Will it be able to recover after the loss of Corey Kiner? And it's important to keep in mind first how much the running back position has changed. Remember, the LSU running back room is different and viewed differently because we are no longer a run-based team. Back in the days of, say 2007, there were 5 LSU running backs that had 35 carries or more. 5. That is absolutely insane. And the carries just aren't divvied out like that because obviously this is a passing and spread game. So there's just not as many running backs that get touches now, especially, carrying the football. So, number one, running the football is very important, but catching the football out of the backfield is also very important as well. And Kiner had 2 catches last year. And obviously the LSU running back room has really struggled with screens and throws out of the backfield anyway. In fact, I think it cost him a few games last year. The second thing for me is explosiveness. Corey Kiner was really good in a phone booth, making a lot of guys miss that were right in front of his lap when he started to run. But the truth is, as far as top end speed explosiveness, that is not Corey Kiner's strength. And if you look at the running backs that LSU has had in the past under Frank Wilson, Jeremy Hill, Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis were 3 of his main recruits. Those guys had true home run hitting ability. Even Darrell Williams had some pop to his game. So, for me, I just don't think that's one of Kiner's stronger skill sets. There is another guy coming later in the summer, and Noah Cain, who to me is pretty much a carbon copy of Corey Kiner, a guy who wears the same jersey number, ironically, but is also not a home run hitter, but really good in short yardage situations. And also Noah Cain has proven to be a pretty good receiver out of the backfield. So I think that's part of it as well, with another guy coming in for Corey's own estimation for this future at LSU. It looked kind of bleak. He maybe he does beat out all those guys, but with this current injury, obviously I think that makes the decision a little bit easier for him. Now he doesn't feel like he has to rush himself back to practice, and it does allow him to get a fresh start on where his next stop will be. And I do see him going to a non-Power 5 and just dominating there, and maybe one day getting back into the Power 5 game. But, is there the possibility that he can come back to LSU? Yes, but I do think it is really, really small. So, as we've mentioned, lots of bad luck surrounding Corey Kiner, who did have a pretty large following on the show. Being Mr. Ohio in football, kind of like Joe Burrow, he really did love being at LSU. So, it's pretty crazy. Now, for me, I also think this is going to be true as well whenever we discuss this LSU running back room. How much does a running back actually matter? So, for me, it obviously does matter, because obviously a great running back could take your offense to the next level. But as we mentioned earlier, the running backs didn't do well until the blocking schemes got better and the blocking in and of itself got better. Ed Ingram became a different player at the end of the year than he was at the beginning, and that obviously helped out TDP greatly. But blocking schemes and the holes that they create matter more than the running back more often than not. There have been a lot of analytical studies about this at the NFL level, and I'm sure there's probably some correlation to what it is in college. So, yes, there are the Jeremy Hills and the Fournettes of the world that are truly special difference makers. There's just not many of them, and there might not be one of them in this LSU running back room. And especially now with the way college football is, there's just not many great running backs, period, that are of that caliber. So the position has changed, and what LSU does in the run game is going to be more important. Who is the quarterback going to be is just as important as well, because that obviously changes, whether or not you're going to be more of a zone read offense, or with the mobile quarterback like Jaden Daniels, or you're going to be more of a pocket passing offense like with Miles Brennan. That obviously changes a whole lot as well. What's very interesting is we just gave Corey a lot of praise in our film study that we did with Jaden Daniels. I mean, the guy really does care about the craft of running back play. But now we get to the money question. Do I feel the LSU running back room took a major hit? Boom! I'm looking at you right now. You knew it was coming. But yeah, I hate it that Corey left. I really do. I do think a deeper running back room, knowing how often running backs get injured, I feel every LSU running back at this point in this room has had, lower body injury history. And honestly, now that I think about it, it actually is pretty extensive. All 5 of the running backs, and outside of Josh Williams, do have lower body injury history. So you do need a deep running back room. Still, I do think it does potentially clear things up, and it could be one of those situations where it is better for both parties involved that Corey Kiner goes elsewhere. But bottom line is, I just love this guy. The spin move. I'm telling you, the Clyde Edwards-Helaire comparisons were just so flying in, my inbox, everybody's inbox. So obviously, comment down below your thoughts on today's video. Let me know what you think of Corey Kiner going elsewhere. And don't forget, we have some pretty gnarly. Did I just really use the word gnarly? I did. We do have some fun film studies that we've done based on the Tiger Stadium scrimmages. They'll be floating in your face in just a second. And of course, we wish Corey Kiner nothing but the best. It is Power Out LSU. Boom! Tonight we're doing some turkey and dressing. Let's